Hi everyone, Aaron here for Zollotech, and with the recent release of AirPods 3, many people have been asking me, should they pick up AirPods 3 or AirPods Pro? So I wanted to help you decide which would be best for you. Now the first thing is the overall price. The price of the AirPods 3 is $179 in the United States. It can vary depending on where you live, but compared with the AirPods Pro, they're a little bit cheaper, where the AirPods Pro come in at $249. So you'll save a little bit if you go with the AirPods 3. Now there's a lot of features that are very similar between both of them. So I'm going to go over all of the similar features, then what makes them different. We'll go over the design, sound, and more. Now the first thing is the features that are similar are both use Bluetooth 5.0. Both have adaptive EQ, both have custom high excursion drivers, custom high dynamic range amplifiers, spatial audio with head tracking. They both have dual beamforming microphones for calls, also inward facing microphones for adaptive EQ, motion detecting accelerometers, speech detecting accelerometers, force sense, as well as IPX4 sweat and water resistance for both of them. So all of those things are identical on both. However, what makes AirPods Pro more pro, at least according to Apple, is that it has active noise cancellation. It also has the transparency mode as well as conversation boost. And internally it has a vent system, so when it's sealed in your ear with the air tip to sort of block noise, there's a vent that allows for pressure equalization so that it doesn't feel as though you have your ears plugged. You also have dual optical sensors instead of a skin detect sensor of the AirPod 3, where it knows that it's in your ear and can sense when you remove it and pause and play music. So when you remove them from your ear, they'll pause music. When you put them back in, they'll continue playing. Now, as far as the overall design of them, they're very similar, as you can see here. In fact, they look almost identical. If you were to remove the ear tip from the AirPod Pro, you'll see that they have pretty much the same sort of overall design. And what that means is I find them personally very comfortable in my ears. Now, one of them does not sit within your ear canal. The AirPods 3 don't go into your ear canal, but just sit directly outside of them, similar to the first and second gen AirPod. I actually prefer this when in a working environment, so you can hear people around you, ambient noise around you, or maybe when you're in bed and you need to listen to some music to get to sleep, they'll sit around your ear and allow your ear to have some sort of ventilation, or so it's just not plugged all the time. With the AirPod Pro, of course, you have that pushing into your ear canal, and some people prefer that. You can get custom foam tips for these as well if you don't like the general tips that come with it. I actually find that these tend to irritate my ears a little bit. So if you wear these a lot, they seem to irritate them, but if you wear them for an hour or two at a time, they don't seem to bother me. Of course, the benefit of them sealing in your ears is you can eliminate ambient noise. Now, the way they fit in your ear, like I said, is very similar, but the AirPods Pro seem to fit in my ear a little bit better and seem to be as though they'll stay put more often. And that is mostly because of this ear tip where it just sort of seals in your ear and gives it a little bit more extra gripping force. However, the AirPods 3 I do find to be a little bit more comfortable because they don't really feel like they're there. So as you can see, the way they fit in my ear are a little bit different. Again, I find them both fairly comfortable, but the AirPods 3 I find more comfortable because they don't really feel as though they're even there. Now, as far as controls on them, you can see that we have this little press button here. So we have the flat piece here where we press this. Unlike AirPods 1 and 2, AirPods 3 have this button where instead of tapping to sort of go to the next track, now you double squeeze the little flat area and you'll go to the next track. Triple squeeze, you go back. This is very similar to AirPods Pro. However, on AirPods 3, if you press and hold this area, you'll go into Siri. On AirPods Pro, that controls noise cancellation, transparency, or turns it off altogether. And I'll show you that in the software in a little bit. But as you can see, the overall design looks very, very similar, except for some of the venting and where some of the sensors are placed. So again, very, very similar as far as the overall design. The stem is a little bit shorter on the Pro as well. AirPods 3 and AirPods Pro have a slight weight difference as well. AirPods 3 are 0.15 ounce or 4.28 grams, where AirPods Pro are 0.19 ounce or 5.4 grams. So there's a slight difference there. I don't know that you're going to notice that between both of them. Now, as far as the overall sound, like I mentioned earlier, they have custom high dynamic range amplifiers with custom high excursion drivers. What that means is they both have similar speakers, and they sound very, very similar. AirPods 3 sound as though you're using AirPods Pro, but without the noise cancellation feature or them being sealed in your ear. They basically sound absolutely identical in every way in my tests. So I'm surprised with the amount of bass you get with AirPods 3. In fact, you get much more bass than you do with AirPods 2 or first generation. The AirPods Pro have a little bit more bass because it seals in your ear, but I don't know that most people will be able to tell the difference when it comes to that. So I think the sound is extremely similar highs, mids, and lows, but one is sealing off and giving you noise cancellation and transparency, one is not. Now, I'll show you how to control those features in a moment, but as far as overall battery life, there is a difference between both of them. AirPods 3 last up to 6 hours if you don't have the spatial audio feature turned on. And with the case, you can get up to 30 hours total. So if you have spatial audio off, you can get up to 6 hours, but with spatial audio turned on, it brings it down to 5 hours. So if you're not using spatial audio, you'll get the best battery life, and you can disable that, and I'll show you that in a moment. With AirPods Pro, it's a little bit different. Because you have noise cancellation and it's listening to ambient noise and canceling that, if you have active noise cancellation turned on or transparency mode, you'll get up to about 4.5 hours of listening time or 24 hours of charging with the case. So it charges the AirPods about 4 times for each one of these, and up to 5 hours without active noise cancellation turned on. So they're still not as good as AirPods 3 as far as overall battery life. They've really given it an extra hour or so on the AirPods 3 if you're not using noise cancellation and you don't compare that. However, if you're on a plane, of course, you're going to want that noise cancellation to seal out those noises, or maybe you're mowing the lawn or something else, and that's where the difference is as far as that goes. Now, as far as controlling these on your iPhone, let's put one in my ear. I'll put the AirPods Pro in my ear first to show you those features, and then we'll switch over to AirPods 3. Now, if we go into the control center, we'll make sure we're connected here. We'll go into Bluetooth and make sure we're connected to AirPods Pro. So we'll give it just a moment to connect. Sometimes when you have multiple AirPods, you have a little bit of an issue here. So let me go ahead and put this one away for now. Now with the AirPods Pro connected, if we go into the control center, you'll see that we have the icon for this. And if we press and hold, this is where we get our options. So we have our noise control, and by pressing and holding on our stem of the AirPods Pro, if I press and hold, you'll see it switches to off. If I press and hold again, it goes to transparency. Now I can't use noise cancellation with just one in my ear. It says place both in your ears for noise cancellation. And there is a feature where you can change some of that. But if I put both in my ears, so I have both in my ears now I have noise cancellation. Again, if I press and hold on the stem, this will change, and now it's back to transparency. It just depends how many you have in your ear. And if you're listening to music and you take them out, so if I'm listening to this song, and I take one out of my ear, it will pause. So it works really well. If I put it back in my ear, it will play again. This is very similar to what we have on AirPods 3. However, we get one other feature with AirPods Pro that we don't get on AirPods 3, and that has to do with conversation boost. So maybe you have an AirPod in your ear, an AirPod Pro, you go down to the ear here in your control center, and you have the option for conversation boost. This allows us to better hear the person we're talking to. We can change the ambient noise reduction, also change the tones, so maybe we can hear a little bit better on the brighter end. We can change that so that we can hear what we're listening to a little bit better if we're trying to talk to someone. With AirPods 3, like I said, you have some options as well. So just like we have the option for spatialized audio or spatialized stereo with head tracking, we have that on AirPods 3. So if I put these back in the case, the AirPods Pro, we'll put these in the case like that, go back over to the AirPods 3, put them in my ear. You'll see it connects automatically. Both of them have that feature. We'll make sure we're connected. Again, sometimes when you have a bunch of things connected, it makes a difference. We'll hit play. Sometimes that helps it connect better, and you can see the AirPods 3 connected here. Now with them connected, like I said, you don't get the option for noise cancellation, but you do have spatial audio. So it can use head tracking or a fixed position. So when you're listening to music, it sounds as though it's coming from the device. This works great when you're watching movies, whether that be on your iPhone or iPod or iPad or Mac. On a Mac or even Apple TV now, you can use this feature. And so it makes it sound as though the audio is coming directly from the device. And as you turn your head away from it, it keeps the audio in the direction of the device. So if I turn my head to the right, the audio will be coming from the left. If I turn my head to the left, it will be coming from the right, and so on. You can turn this off and it will use less battery. However, it's a really nice feature, more so when you're watching movies or TV than it is when you're maybe listening to music. So when you're listening to music, it can be a little bit annoying in my opinion, but when you're watching movies and TV, it's really quite a nice experience. That's my personal opinion. Also, if you're using spatial audio, maybe with a spatial audio or Dolby Atmos track in Apple Music, it makes a difference. Otherwise, you can turn it off and save a little battery, but it's something that both of these devices have. So either one has these features, but you don't get the noise cancellation. Now, as far as charging the case, this has been updated depending on the device you have. So AirPods 3 can charge via Lightning on the bottom, or they can charge via wireless with MagSafe. There's magnets to help align it on the case itself. Now, if you have older AirPods Pro that haven't been released after the AirPods 3, you won't have that option. Let me show you what that looks like. So if I bring in some magnet paper, you'll be able to see the actual magnets on the back of the device. So you can see on the back of the case, there are 4 magnets. This is to help it align with MagSafe. We don't have that on AirPods Pro on some of the older devices. However, we can still charge with MagSafe. So if I bring in a MagSafe charger, place it on here, you'll see it starts to charge. If I bring on a AirPods 3 case, it aligns itself and now it's stuck to the middle. So it's stuck to this where the AirPods Pro case will just fall off. So there's a little bit of a difference there. If you get brand new AirPods Pro, maybe you don't have them already, then you should have those magnets in there, but it will say with MagSafe on the packaging. So that's something that they just updated and didn't really tell anybody about, but it's in the case itself. Now, as far as which one you should choose, well, that really depends on your needs. If you're someone that needs active noise cancellation, maybe you're on a plane all the time, well, then you'll probably want to go with the Pros. If you're someone that doesn't ever use active noise cancellation, but you want all the benefits of AirPods Pro, but without the noise canceling, you'll probably find the AirPods 3 to be a little bit more comfortable, and you'll get more battery life as well. So it really depends what you're doing. For me personally, if I was not going on planes, I would just go with the AirPods 3 since you get all of the benefits other than the noise cancellation. However, if you're traveling, well, then you want to go with AirPods Pro. And if you want the very best noise cancellation, you may want to go with AirPods Max, as those are much better at noise cancellation than AirPods Pro. Transparency on AirPods Pro is great if you're listening to an announcement, maybe on a plane, you're trying to hear someone else briefly, but it's not something I would leave on all the time. So basically, when you're in a work environment, I would recommend AirPods 3. When you're traveling a lot and you need quiet environments, I would recommend AirPods Pro. So it just depends which one you value more. And of course, you'll save a little money with AirPods 3, but both are equal when it comes to audio. So let me know which one you're going with in the comments below, or did you go with something else? I'd love to hear from you there as well. If you'd like to get your hands on this wallpaper, of course, I'll link it in the description like I normally do. And if you haven't subscribed already, please subscribe. And if you enjoyed the video, please give it a like. As always, thanks for watching. This is Aaron. I'll see you next time.